Hello and welcome back to Retired Happy. This is your retired happy friend in Mississippi. I'm Carolyn, and thank you for so much for joining back today. If this is the first time you've been here, this is a Retired Happy channel about things that we do in our retired life that bring us happiness, joy, fulfillment, gives us motivation, and just that we enjoy doing. So share with me in the comments below on what you like. Some people enjoy cooking, which I do. I enjoy sewing, crochet. Going to take up knitting fairly soon, watercolor painting. Things that are outside. I enjoy my gardening. So let me know what you enjoy and what gives you joy and pleasure. What you look forward to every morning and gives you motivation to get up out of the bed and put one foot on the floor and then the other one and get going for the day. So today we're going to do the squash patties. Sometimes you can call them squash fritters. The same recipe would be very good to use zucchini squash or eggplant. And then after I do the squash patties, squash fritters, I'm going to show you another way I like my summer vegetables. And I put them on a baking sheet and roast them. And when I was in Italy, we had really good roasted vegetables. That's where I first got the idea to roast my fresh vegetables instead of stewing them and boiling them like that we do here in the South. So I'll show you how I do that. And I want to really, at the first of this, extend all of my condolences, my concerns, my compassion to all the people who are hurting in Texas. We've had another flood area in New Mexico, so my heart goes out to everybody. Prayers every day for God's comfort, God's guidance to be with everybody at this time with so much going on. So know that all the country is grieving with you, and we have compassion and concern and care for you, and just pray for God's guidance for you. And my thankful for today is for my church family. We went to church today, and today is Sunday. We're recording this, and every second Sunday of the month we have our potluck dinner, and it's just amazing at all the good food that we always have. Of course, we have fried chicken, we have sausage, a big pot of barbecue, all kinds of salads. And we always have stuffed eggs, especially in the summertime. And a salad that was brought, we had two today that is an old standard in the South, and I haven't seen it in quite a while, but one was the pear half with the mayonnaise, the grated cheese on top, and a cherry on top. I haven't seen that salad in a long time, but we used to have it an awful lot when I was growing up. So I might do that one day, just for to bring back a lot of memories. It's not anything new and original with me. It's just an old-fashioned Southern standby. So that's my thankful for today, is so many people who love the Lord and gather on Sunday to worship and to hear His Word. Our pastor is very, very good. We're in Philippians. Last Sunday he covered Philippians chapter 1. Today he covered Philippians chapter 2. So the good word today is what he brought us today, is not to think more highly of ourselves than we should, and to think more highly of those around us, others, to help others, to think of others before we think of ourselves. Think of how our words that come out of our mouth are going to affect somebody else who hears them. So that's the good word for today, is to think of others first. And I've been working on this week what gives me joy. I have been working on my quilted hearts, and this is the one that I'm working on right now. This is the backing, and I think this square, I measured it, it was right at 12 by 10 inches. So I still have this much to cut out, and I've already cut out 3 hearts. So I have that one, and that one on the quilted hearts. And that all came out of this square, this part of this square. So it's just amazing how different they all look depending on how you place your heart and where the seam goes. So now I have to take my card. This is the card I put my quilted hearts on, and it says a quilted heart just handmade just for you, and that's the back of it. So I have to print some more off, and pretty soon this next week I will be having some more of the quilted note cards on my Etsy shop. So if any of you are interested in that, you can look on my Etsy shop. So right now my table is all stacked up with my quilting pieces, my ironing board is set up, and my scissors are out. So my workshop is in full swing. I've also been working some more on my watercolor painted gift bags. These are the brown produce bags that I get at the produce stand, and I do the watercolor flowers on it. And then when I get ready to gift it, I fold the top down, take my hole puncher and punch 2 holes and put some decorative ribbon on it and put my gift, whatever I'm giving, in my gift bag. So I have that. That's another project that I'm working on over on my watercolor table. So let me know what you do in your spare time and what your hobbies are and just what you enjoy creating, because it just makes us feel good to be able to create something with our hands and be able to gift it to somebody. And everybody you give it to really appreciates something that you have made with your time, your hands, and your talent. So I'll get on now with the squash patties and then the roasted vegetables. Now Wednesday, when you come back, I'm going to be demonstrating a very simple pillowcase. I think some of you probably watched the video where I was getting my granddaughter, in helping her work through getting her brand new sewing machine set up. So she needs some good simple projects to start on, just to practice sewing and just to get used to using her machine. So Wednesday I'm going to show a simple pillowcase for her and my other granddaughter who hasn't gotten her machine yet, but it's still here waiting for her. And I have shown the burrito pillowcase before, but this pillowcase is going to be even more simple. It makes great gifts. You can make a pair of them. You can make them out of school colors, school logo fabric. You can make them out of flannel for children for the wintertime. So that's Wednesday. I'll show you how I make my BLT sandwich in the summertime, because it's hot weather here in Mississippi and we don't like to do a whole lot of hot cooking in the summertime. So I'll show you the BLT on Wednesday. So tune in, and I hope you like this. I hope you will like, subscribe, and share your smile with everyone along the way. And you never know what somebody is going through and what they've just left before you have met them and run into them. So I know over at the produce stand, every time I go over, they're not smiling. And I'm like, you know, why aren't y'all smiling? I haven't said that, but I've often wondered. I mean, they're doing a great business and people are there and anxious to buy the fresh produce in the stand. So I don't know whether they've just gotten so used to people being there and they've gotten used to ringing up vegetables all day. They're outside, they're working under a roof, have big fans. It is hot outside, but that's their choice of vocation, and I'm sure they're doing it because they enjoy it, but they're just not smiling. And I like to be greeted with a smile, so I know other people like to be greeted with a smile. So share your smile with everyone. It doesn't cost you anything, and it can make the world of difference in their life today. Thank you so much, and let's get started. Today is Summer Vegetable Day. So today I'm going to show you how I cook the squash. You can call them either squash patties or squash fritters. So either way is the same thing, a different name. So I'm going to show you how I prepare that. And I'm also going to show you how I like to prepare my fresh vegetables. I have a fresh eggplant, and when I was at the produce market today, I got some fresh okra, and it has not come down yet, which I thought it would. So it's still $2.99 a pound for fresh okra. So I'm going to show you how I like to do it. I had fresh vegetables fixed this way when I was in Italy and really learned to like it. So I'm going to prepare it on a baking sheet, put it in the oven and roast it, and it is so good. So we're going to start with the squash, and I'll show you step by step how I do that. And while the squash is boiling, I'm going to prepare the other vegetables that will bake in the oven. And at the end, I'll make a pan of cornbread. Of course, we have to have fresh cornbread to go with it. So I'm going to start preparing the squash first, and I'm going to get my knife sharp so I can slice through the squash easily and make sure my knife is in good shape. So I've already washed the squash, and this is the yellow summer squash. Now, used to, when I was younger, I remember that it was crookneck squash, and we always called it the yellow crookneck squash. But now, most of the squash that's at the produce market is straight, and it's not crookneck. So I'm going to start by slicing the squash, and I'm going to slice it pretty thin, and before I fry it, I'm going to go ahead and boil it, and that way the squash will be done. And after it's done, then we will make it into patties and fry it in patties or fritters, whichever you want to call it. So I'm going to put onion in with it. So I'll put onion and a little bit of oil and salt and pepper. And I'm going to save a little bit of the squash to roast in the oven with my other vegetables, because I just really, really like the summer vegetables roasted. So I think I will leave that one out, and I will leave that one out to roast. So this would be a really good dish. I'm going to, of course, cook the cornbread to go with it. And we'll have the squash, the roasted vegetables, the cornbread, and then it would be really good with either fried chicken or roasted chicken. It'd be really good with pork roast or beef roast. And I have already washed my squash before I'm slicing it, so I'm only going to fix enough for me. I'm not going to fix a big amount. So I'm going to go ahead and roast that one also. But this was 3 squash, and what I'm going to end up boiling is going to be the equivalent, I would say 2 squash. Those were 2 nice size medium squash. So now I'm going to slice the onion and prepare some fresh onion to go with it. And salt and pepper, a little bit of butter, a little bit of oil, and that's all I'm going to put in it for it to boil. So there we go. Summer vegetables are really, really good. You don't really need a recipe. You just need just need a little experience, I guess, in cooking it for many years. But if you need a recipe to go by, this is what I'm putting in it and how I'm preparing it. And I always put onion in my squash. It just gives it good flavor, and just always put onion in it. That was less than half an onion, so I could have gone on and put that in there, but I didn't. I just thought it had enough. So now I'm going to put salt and pepper and a little bit of cooking oil, And I have this little bit of butter. I'm going to go ahead and put the butter in my squash while it's cooking. Now, of course, it's going to fry in oil while it's frying, so I'm not going to put any more butter in than that. And really, I'm only going to put that much water in. Squash is full of water. It has so much water, so it's not going to need a lot. So now I'm going to set this on the burner, and I'm going to turn the burner on and let that start heating up and boil. So now, while that is boiling, I have my baking sheet, and I'm going to go ahead and spray my baking sheet. This is heavy duty, extra heavy duty aluminum foil that I'm going to line it with. So I'm going to spray the foil with olive oil and just give it a light spray. And now I'm going to take the okra, I'm going to rinse it, and I always like to cut the whole top off of the okra like that. I don't leave any of the top on it. So I'm going to turn the camera off and go ahead and rinse off and clean all of my okra. Now I have the okra rinsed off and washed, so it's clean. We're ready now to take the tops off of it and just spread it on the baking sheet. So I looked for the small, I really like to get much smaller okra than this. And look, that one is too tough. Can't use that one at all. So I hope this okra is good, because I do like to get it. All of this is bigger than I would like to get. So that one's too tough. If it's too tough to slice the top off of it, it's going to be too tough to eat. And nobody likes tough okra. I mean, you can't eat it. You just have to throw it away. Even in gumbo or boiled, it still never gets tender. So, okay, I didn't have too many to have to throw away, so that's good. Now I have my eggplant. So I'm going to take the top and the bottom off the eggplant. And I like these little, these tender little heirloom eggplant. I think they're really neat. So now I have my squash. I put the lid over the squash, and it's on the stove simmering. So it's getting soft and simmering and getting ready to do its thing. So now let's go ahead and get the eggplant ready to go on the baking sheet. And if you've never tried eggplant like this, give it a try. It's a little bit different. I have had, excuse me, I have had eggplant casserole before, and I have fried eggplant. And eggplant is very, very porous, and it absorbs a lot of grease. So it's really hard to get eggplant fried without it soaking up all the grease. So now I'm going to just spread the eggplant around on the baking sheet. Now I want to leave enough room for my squash, because I do want to roast my squash. Okay. So this is going to be a really good summer vegetable cooking. All right, there we go. Now I need to scoot everything over. Y'all scoot over a little bit. And let's scoot that in Let's scoot that in right there. Okay, so there we go. Now my oven is already heating. I turned it on and heating it up to 350. Now I'm going to go ahead and take my olive oil and spray all of the vegetables with just a light spray of the olive oil. And take my fresh ground black pepper and grind it all over the tops of the vegetables. And I do like the fresh ground because I like the bigger pieces of the black pepper. I don't like the fine ground black pepper. And then I like the coarse salt. So I'm using the coarse sea salt. Sprinkle that all over. And now this is going in the oven, and I'll let you know how long that sits in the oven and roast. So this is going to be a really, really, really good supper. And I'll also probably put the tomato, slice some tomato to go with it, and some fresh onion. So we're going to pop this in the oven. Okay, meantime, the squash is cooking down. And I don't want this to brown like I usually do. I have showed you when I am cooking the fresh squash, and I like it to kind of brown or caramelize. So I'm going to put just a little, there's no water at all in the boiler. So I just turned it on really quick just to add enough water so it can steam. So now I'm going to put that back on the stove and steam it just a little bit longer. And it's only been on the stove just while I was preparing the vegetables. So I would say that was 5 minutes, 10 minutes at the most. So the fresh vegetables are in the oven at 420 degrees, and they are roasting in the oven. And since I have my oven that hot already, and since it's already hot summertime, I'm going on and make my little pan of cornbread so it can bake while the vegetables are baking. I have 1/4 cup of oil, cooking oil. This is canola. I'm going to put that in the oven and let my cornbread pan start heating up while I mix up my cornbread. And we want the oil really hot. And in the meantime, the squash is cooking, and I take it off and I just start chopping up the squash. And I could have chopped it up smaller when I was putting it in the boiler, which on hindsight I think I would have. So when you're cooking yours, chop it up into a little bit smaller pieces when you're cooking it. So it's getting nice and soft. I'm going to let it cook just a little bit longer and keep stirring it and chopping it up while I mix up the cornbread. And this is going to be so good. Now you could also make the same recipe using zucchini if you wanted to, and you could do it with eggplant. So eggplant would be cooked the same way. Just put it in, peel it. I wouldn't put the peel in, but if you're going to make the patties with eggplant, go ahead and peel your eggplant. You don't have to peel the zucchini. You can do it just like I did the yellow squash. So we're going to put the lid on that and put it back on the stove. Now we're ready to mix up the cornbread, and it is not going to take any time at all to get the cornbread ready to cook. So I have self-rising cornmeal, self-rising flour, 1 egg, and my buttermilk. Trying to find the front of it, and the buttermilk. So that's all there is to making cornbread. And while the iron skillet is heating in the oven, I'll go ahead and get this mixed up. Now what I generally do, this is a 1/2 cup measurer, so I'm going to use a 1/2 cup self-rising cornmeal mix and a 1/2 cup self-rising flour. Okay, and I'm going to stir that up with the buttermilk. And generally I use a 1/2 cup of each and then 1 cup of the buttermilk. And I didn't really measure it because I never do. I just mix it up, pour my buttermilk in there, and go ahead and stir it up until it looks kind of like pancake batter, kind of like cake batter. You don't want it too thick. I'm going to turn the burner off under the squash and let it sit there a minute while I get through with the cornbread. So this whole supper you could fix in 30 to 45 minutes and have it ready. And another thing that would be really good, if you have sausage, either link sausage or smoked sausage, or a lot of people in the South have deer sausage, which I don't. My family never did hunt, and we never did have deer meat. But if you do, deer sausage or deer steak would be good with this. Okay, that's all there is to mixing the cornbread. The cornbread's ready for the pan. And let's see how the squash is doing. Okay, the squash is looking really good. I'm going to let it sit over there and cool just a minute while I finish the cornbread. I'm going to put an egg in the squash, so I want it to cool enough that the egg doesn't cook when I pour it in the squash. Now I'm going to pour the hot oil. Okay, did you hear that sizzle? That's what we want it to do. We want it to sizzle. And I'm going to stir the hot oil into the mix. And there's our hot skillet. And we're going to stir up the hot oil into the cornbread mix. Pour it back into the hot pan as quick as we can, because we want that pan to be really hot when we put our cornbread mix in it. And if it's really hot, you will see it starts cooking and it starts rising and sizzling around the edge, and that's what we want. It actually starts cooking before it gets in the oven. So back into the oven with the cornbread. It's ready to start mixing up, put everything else in the squash. So it's looking good. Okay. I'm going to put, I always like to put pepper. Now I do use the fresh ground black pepper. I'm going to take some regular saltine crackers, and in the meantime I'm stirring the squash and letting it cool before I add the egg to it, because I don't want my egg to cook. So that was 6 crackers I'm going to crumble and mix in. And I want this to go ahead and cool so I don't have to wait so long. Now we're going to grate the cheese and put the cheese, and that's all the crackers we need. Sharp cheddar cheese, and you can use whichever cheese you have on hand. And I have learned recently from watching a lot of my friends in different parts of the country that a lot of people don't have orange cheddar cheese, which That's the only thing I've ever seen all my life is the orange cheddar cheese. So when I go to the store, I'm going to check around at different stores and see if I can find white cheddar cheese. So y'all let me know in the comments below, please, if you use white cheddar cheese or if your cheese is orange like mine is. I've gotten very curious about that lately. Because we are a learning community and we're going to share and learn from each other. That's the beauty of our retirement journey, is we can learn from each other. Okay, that's looking good. I hope this is cool enough that my egg doesn't cook when I pour it in. Okay, I'm going to stir that in real quick. And the egg helps the squash to set when it cooks. It helps it to thicken and to set, so it's not thin. Okay, good. That did great. Okay, now we are ready to start frying our squash patties. That's all we're going to put in it. Now I have the cornbread is in the oven baking. The vegetables are still roasting, so everything's looking great. We're going to start frying the squash patties and get them cooking, and then we'll be ready to eat. While I was waiting for my oil to heat in my pan, I did take my vegetables out and I just turned all of them over, and they are looking great. Now, if you've never tried okra like this, I really like okra roasted in the oven, and I like it small okra. My oil is hot, so I have my squash mixture, and we're going to start frying up our squash. And I don't like them too big, I like them kind of small. So this looks like it's going to be just right for just me. And some people might like to have something to dip it in. I don't. I don't have to have something to dip it in, but if you wanted to, you could dip it in either ketchup, or you could use probably ranch dressing would be good, or I think I made the salsa dip with the half sour cream and half pecani sauce. I think that would be good with. Okay, isn't that looking good? Oh, these are going to be so good. And I love my big iron skillet for this. The cornbread usually bakes right at 20 to 30 minutes. Since I'm in the kitchen, I really didn't check the clock to see what time I put it in, but usually it's going to be right at 20 to 30 minutes. I bake my cornbread until it's light golden brown on top. When it's light golden brown on top, it's going to be brown and crusty on the bottom, because I am baking it at 420 degrees, which is a hot oven. And they are going to taste just as good as they look, maybe even better. That had a little bit I want to cook a little bit longer. Okay, it looks like I have enough for one more small one, and I'm not going to put it in there. I could squeeze it in the center, but I think it would stick to the others and tear it up getting it out, so I'm going to just wait. Okay, let's check on our vegetables and see how the veggies are looking. Okay, I think maybe 5 more minutes. I'm going to turn my heat down just a little. That came out to be 10 squash patties. And now it's time to go ahead and get the vegetables out. So there are the vegetables. They are ready. And there's the cornbread. The cornbread is done. And all of this the whole thing took less than an hour from the fixing it. And there's the cornbread. Perfect. Perfect every time. So here we are. Everything is finished, and it is so good. I've already taste tested the squash and the roasted vegetables, but this is my complete dinner, and this is the way I'm going to eat it. I have my fresh cornbread. It's hot, buttered. I split it in half and put butter in it. I have the squash patties, 2 of those, the roasted eggplant, the roasted squash, the little roasted okra. And with that, I'm going to put, now that little tomato is one that I got out of my backyard. So it's small, but it's good. So that's one of my homegrown tomatoes. I'm going to put a fresh green onion with it. And with this meal, I don't really need any meat. So this is a vegetable dinner. And a lot of times I do just have vegetable dinners. I don't always have to have meat with everything. So this is my supper tonight. Now when I get ready to store it, I'm going to put all of this in my plastic containers and keep it in the refrigerator. And then when I get ready to eat it again for another meal, I'm going to put my cornbread in my toaster oven that's on the counter. You see that every time I'm cooking. So I heat my cornbread in my toaster oven. I also am going to put the squash patties and the roasted vegetables in there. It's so much better when it's heated in the toaster oven than if I put it in the microwave and just heat it in the microwave. Now the vegetables sometimes I will heat in the microwave, but the cornbread, it has to be toasted in the toaster oven. So I hope you enjoy this. Hope you try it. Now this recipe for the squash patties, I could just as easily have put that in a casserole dish. And it was just enough for me, so it was a small amount, and it was 2 yellow summer squash. But I would put that in a buttered casserole dish, take out, for that small amount, I would use half a sleeve of Ritz crackers, melt about a 1/4 cup butter in my measuring cup, put the crushed up Ritz crackers in there, stir that all up, sprinkle the Ritz crackers on top. If you want to get fancy, you can put grated cheese on top of the squash, then the Ritz crackers on top of the grated cheese. So there you go. Home cooking is, you can adapt it to your taste. Try it, experiment with it. You're not going to hurt anything. Nobody's going to fire you. And try it and experiment and come up with things that you like. Have fun. with cooking as well as everything in life. Life is too short to stress out over the small stuff. See you next time. Thanks. Well, it's not even 6 o'clock yet, and all the lights are coming on, all the dusted on lights. They automatically come on when it gets dark, so I've had my lamp on in the house since 3:30, and it's about 10 minutes till 6 right now. So the water has gone down. This ditch was it's the fullest I have ever seen since I've been living here. And it's still thundering. A little bit of rain is still falling. Everything is bright, clean. All the lightning that we had has really put a lot of ozone in the air and really made everything light and bright and green again. But we may not see Maisie outside today. If she comes out at all, while I'm getting this video ready, I'll show you Maisie, but she has not come out at all. So the thunder is still rumbling, and I just noticed that big limb is off of my tree, so I'm going to have to investigate in that. I don't know if the wind blew it off, or it's entirely possible lightning struck it. I have never seen lightning as big as we had in this little brief thunderstorm we had a little while ago. The lightning would pop and immediate thunder, so I know the lightning was striking somewhere. It was right over us. Bless her sweet little heart, she just came out of the closet. Maisie, Maisie, hey there girl. Yeah, she has on her thunder coat. It's still a little thunder rumbling, but I'm so happy she came out of the closet. Okay. Well, it's still sprinkling a little bit, but I don't hear any thunder. And finally, Maisie came out and sat up on the sofa with me, and she just ate, so here's hoping we can go for a little bit of a walk. If she hears thunder, she'll hightail it back to the front door. Come on, Maisie, let's go for a walk. You see how wet everything is? Yeah, everything's very, very wet. Very green and very wet. And it's still sprinkling a little bit. I didn't put her raincoat on her since it's not raining very much, but she does still have her thunder shirt on. So we're not going very far. So Mama's getting wet. I have on my little rain jacket and my hood up. What do you think, Maisie? What do you think? It's still raining a little bit, but not too much, huh? I can see the edge of the sky is light, so it looks like most of the thunderstorm is past us and going on over toward the east. So the water is running down the street. Nothing like it was earlier when I showed you the river that was running down by my backyard. But it's still raining enough for the water to be running. It's so funny how if there's anything different in the yard, she will stop and check it out, like that bark. That bark off the tree was not there yesterday.